Okay, so like you've sent us a ton of AI stuff, articles and interviews, even a comic book. Clearly, you're really into this AI thing. It seems like the big question you're all wrestling with is what impact is AI really going to have?
Mhm.
And how should we get ready for this future that feels like it's just right around the corner?
Well, you're right to be looking at this from all these different sides. This isn't just another tech fad. AI has the potential to completely change everything: jobs, how we see the world, you name it.
And that's why we're turning to this guy, Marc Andreessen. I mean, the guy's known for having his finger on the pulse of the future, right? And he's got this surprisingly optimistic view of AI, but he doesn't shy away from the parts that make you kind of go, whoa, hold on a sec.
Yeah, what really struck me was how he compared this AI boom to like the invention of, the microprocessor and even the internet. These were like massive turning points that totally changed the game for society.
It's like he's saying that this is not just like a software update. This is a whole different ball game for how we're going to live, work, even think, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, it's already happening. Millions of people are already using AI tools every single day. Think about it. You, listening to this right now, have access to the same kind of AI power as like some billion-dollar company. That's insane. That's never happened before in history.
And that accessibility, that's exactly what makes this whole control of AI thing so, so important.
Absolutely. AI is becoming like the lens we're all going to be seeing the world through. Imagine your news feeds, but like on another level, not just showing you what you want to see, but maybe even shaping how you think about it.
Which brings us to this whole debate about censorship, right?
Yeah, and Andreessen sees this back and forth we're having now about online censorship as like a warm-up act for what's coming with AI.
Like a sneak peek, basically.
Exactly. Think about it. AI isn't just going to be something we use to talk to each other. It's going to be controlling the flow of information, how we educate ourselves, even what we consider to be true. Like, imagine you want to learn about two different candidates running for office, and you ask your AI assistant to give you the lowdown. The information it gives you, even if it's subtle, could sway you toward one candidate over the other.
So then who gets to decide what's true or okay to share in a world run by AI?
Yeah, and it makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. And those questions, they become even more, I don't know, I guess, urgent when you consider that Andreessen himself has actually invested in Elon Musk.
Right, and you can see why he's drawn to Musk, right? Andreessen has always been about backing people as much as ideas,
Right.
and Musk is all about a radical way of doing tech and leading, right? He doesn't want to just build a better smartphone. He wants to, like, rewrite the rules entirely.
Totally, totally. And Andreessen actually calls this the Elon method, which is basically this laser focus on actually getting stuff done. It's about prioritizing substance over style.
Yeah.
It's about getting down to the heart of problems, and it's about moving fast.
Exactly, and you see that in everything Musk does. Like, remember his thing, what have you gotten done this week? That kind of constant drive to execute is a big reason why companies like Tesla and SpaceX have been able to come up with so many innovations so quickly.
But, that management style has definitely ruffled some feathers, let's be honest. It's not exactly known for being, super warm and fuzzy or prioritizing work-life balance,
Yeah.
right?
And that's where things get really fascinating. Can Musk's way of doing things, this quest for maximally truth-seeking AI, can it even be scaled up? Or are we putting too much trust in one person, someone who might have his own blind spots?
Because, maximally truth-seeking, that sounds amazing, like in theory. But how do you even build that into an AI? And whose truth are we talking about anyway?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's a noble goal, for sure, but getting there is going to be, well, interesting, to say the least. And it raises a lot of tricky questions about bias, who's in control, and even the very nature of truth.
And it's not just the technology, right? Like there's this whole human side to it too.
Yep.
How are people going to react to this kind of massive tech shift?
Exactly. And, Andreessen actually talks about this. He says that as tech gets even more advanced, we might actually see like a resurgence in how people look for meaning.
Okay, so what's that mean? Is he saying like religion is going to make a comeback?
It's like broader than that. He sees it as a resurgence of these, I don't know, religious impulses, but in all parts of life, even the stuff that doesn't seem religious at all. Like, think about those die-hard gaming communities.
Okay, yeah.
These people spend hours and hours in these digital worlds. They build these complex relationships. They even come up with their own values and beliefs. It's kind of wild, right?
Yeah, it's like the online world becomes this whole other version of the real world,
Hmm.
with its own, like, rituals and hierarchies.
Exactly, exactly. And we even see this happening offline, too, like with politics. People are really attached to their political beliefs. It's like a core part of who they are.
And you can definitely see how that could get amplified in a world that's dealing with all this AI stuff. Like if people feel like their jobs are at risk, if the way they see the world is being challenged, they're going to look for something that feels stable and makes sense.
Absolutely. And this is where what Andreessen says about the economy comes in. He thinks we've been stuck in this low growth situation for way too long, and that creates this feeling of scarcity, like everyone's got to compete for a piece of the pie.
So it's like if one person wins, someone else has to lose.
Exactly. And that just leads to more division and instability. He's saying that this whole scarcity mindset makes us way more vulnerable to extreme ideas, whether it's about politics or technology.
So where does AI fit into all of this?
Well, Andreessen actually thinks AI could be the thing that gets us out of this low growth trap.
Really? That's kind of unexpected. I would have thought more technology would just make these problems worse.
It seems counterintuitive, right? But he's saying that AI has the potential to create so much more wealth by, like, boosting productivity, coming up with totally new industries, things like that.
So instead of fighting over a smaller and smaller pie, AI could actually help us bake a bigger pie for everyone.
That's the idea. But of course, the big question is, will those benefits be shared fairly, or will it just make the gap between the haves and have-nots even bigger?
Right, right. Which brings us back to that whole question of control and who gets to decide how AI develops. We were talking about Andreessen's support for Elon Musk earlier. Does he have any other thoughts on how we deal with these challenges?
Well, he's a big free speech guy, and he actually thinks these arguments about online censorship we're seeing now, they're just a taste of a way bigger fight to come about: who gets to control AI.
I see what you mean.
Like, he's worried that if a small group ends up with all the power over AI, they could basically control what everyone thinks, influence elections, maybe even rewrite history.
Man, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie. But it's not totally unrealistic either, is it?
Not at all. And that's why he keeps coming back to this idea of building AI that's maximally truth-seeking. He's saying that for AI to actually reach its full potential, it has to be more than just smart. It has to be designed with ethics in mind, it has to be transparent, and it has to be committed to the truth.
But even truth is so subjective these days, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the age of misinformation and all those deep fakes and stuff. How can you program an AI to be truth-seeking when nobody can even agree on what the truth is?
That is the million-dollar question. And to be fair, Andreessen doesn't act like he has all the answers. But he sees how Musk approaches these things, his emphasis on first principles, always questioning everything, not just accepting the way things have always been done. He thinks that could be a good starting point. It's about making AI that's not just intelligent, but also intellectually honest, always double-checking its own biases.
That's a tall order.
For sure, but the stakes couldn't be higher. If we don't get this right, it could be bad news for everyone.
No kidding.
And that's where Andreessen's perspective is so interesting, because it goes beyond just the future of technology. He's talking about the future of humanity.
Yeah.
He's asking us to confront some uncomfortable things about ourselves, like our tendency to form tribes, how easily we can be manipulated, our fear of the unknown.
It's like he's saying, hey, this is us, like it or not.
Right.
And what we decide to do with AI, that's going to say a lot about what we value, what really matters to us, and what kind of future we're shooting for.
Exactly. AI isn't some far-off threat. It's a reflection of our own brilliance, but also our capacity for messing things up.
It's kind of both exciting and scary at the same time.
It really is. And I think that's why Andreessen's perspective is so important. He's not pretending everything's going to be perfect, but he's not all doom and gloom either. He's saying, look, there are some big challenges coming our way, but we actually have a say in how this all plays out.
So how do we even begin to navigate this whole AI frontier? What can we do as, just regular people to get ready for a future where AI is everywhere?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think step one is just staying informed, understanding both the good and the bad that AI could bring. But it's also about cultivating a certain way of thinking.
What do you mean?
It's about being open to lifelong learning, being able to adapt and really thinking critically about the world around us. Those are the skills that are going to matter most in an AI-driven world, not just the technical stuff.
So it's about being more human, not less, even as machines get smarter.
Exactly. And that's the cool part. As AI starts taking over the boring, repetitive tasks, it frees us up to focus on the things that make us uniquely human: creativity, empathy, really understanding complex problems, connecting with people on a deeper level.
It's like we have to like level up our humanity to keep up with the machines in a way.
Totally. And that's both a challenge and a huge opportunity.
So to kind of bring this all back, we've spent this whole deep dive exploring Marc Andreessen's take on the future.
Mm.
And one thing is for sure, the rise of AI, it's not just about ones and zeros, algorithms and data. It's about us. It's
Yeah.
about our potential as human beings, the decisions we make every day, and what we want this world to look like down the road.
And the best part is, we're still writing that story, and each of us has a role to play in how it unfolds.
It's a future where, yeah, the lines between humans and machines are getting blurry, but also a future where what it means to be human, that's what's going to matter more than ever.